Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Activating Activism. We are up to our seventh episode. I've got a fantastic guest who's coming here today. Um, I'll give her just a few moments. I'm sure she'll be here very shortly because I went on 1 minute early, which was silly of me. Actually just arrived right on cue. Look at that. Amazing. I'm going to invite her to the room. What a pro. She's already requested to come in. I'm better at this Instagram live stuff than I am, I have to say. So I'm sure now. There we go. Hello.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I see someone said hola, so hola. I haven't had a chance to introduce you. And anyway, what I like to do in my interviews, as I'm sure you've seen in the past, I like to let my guests introduce themselves because I don't want to go through a list of things that I might miss something out. So, Sammy, would you like to introduce yourselves to the viewers?
Hi, I'm Sammie Vance. I'm 12 years old and I'm the founder of Sammie's Buddy Bench Project. Yeah, I'm from Fort Wayne, Indiana, the USA.
I've got a good friend called Indiana, actually. She isn't from Indiana though. She's actually from London, but you know, it's a cool name. So, in activating activism, we talk to young people who are doing great things. You're one of those. You're a young person, and guess what? You're doing great things. Um, so we're going to talk a little bit about the things that you're doing. Not just the benches, but beyond that, and the way that people can also kind of learn from you and find their own thing, as it were, and move forward with that. So let's start with. Something just popped up on my computer there. It was very distracting. um, let's start with what gave you the idea that you could, make a difference? Was it rooted in the kind of kindness aspect of it, or was it rooted in the environment aspect, or was it like a mixture of the two?
So I would say it was kind of like a mixture. So originally I heard about what a buddy bench was, and it was just like a metal bench. So for those of you that don't know, a buddy bench is a place where someone is lonely. They can sit on the buddy bench, and another person can come up to them and ask them to play, and they can play together. So I originally heard about that idea, and it was just like I said, a metal bench that was being done. Then when my mom did a little bit more research into it, she found the company that does the benches out of recycled plastic caps and lids. But when she told me about that, I thought it would be an extra good idea because, as I like to call it, it's a three in one. It would be helping the environment, helping bring the community closer together, and also helping friendships.
I love this idea of a buddy bench. Like, you know, it's something that I wish we had everywhere, to be honest. You go to, I don't know, I speak at a lot of conferences. I mean, at the moment I don't. But, I'll walk into the room and I'm not a shy person, as you may or may not know. But I'll walk into a room and I'll look around and it'll be full of people. I just think, if we had a buddy bench here, I could sit down and somebody else could be like, hey, that guy wants to speak to somebody, but doesn't, want to go out there because it's not easy, is it, to kind of take that step and just go and talk to people? It's really difficult.
Right, yeah.
So I love the idea. So we've kind of mentioned there what your benches are all about, and you've also mentioned why benches because well, that's the reason. Um, but how are they made? How does that happen?
So basically now it only takes 200 pounds. Well, it's still a lot, but like when I first started the Buddy Bench project, it took 400 pounds of plastic caps to get one 6 foot Buddy Bench. Now it only takes 200, but you collect the caps within your community and then you can either like ship them down to Green Tree Plastics down to Evansville, Indiana, which for people like in London, that would be much easier than driving all the way down. Um, but and then they take the caps and then grind them up into smaller pieces, and then they melt them down into a mold, and then that's just kind of how they're made.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Making something so useful out of something so useless. I'm not a huge fan of bottle tops. I'm not a huge fan of bottles that need to be so disposable bottles. But finding somebody that's doing something with that kind of that polluter, that it's brilliant to see. And so you said that when you started it, it took around £400. So when did you start it exactly?
Yeah, so this summer it was actually 400, it was 4 years from when I started my Buddy Bench project. So it's been a little over 4 years.
That's 4 years. I had hair 4 years ago. Um, I had hair 4 months ago, actually. I only shaved it off quite recently. So, who is your biggest inspiration? So, I don't know, not necessarily to start it, but who is the biggest inspiration just in general?
I can't pick one. I feel like I have so many inspirations. My parents, definitely. Um, and then bigger people such as like Malala Yousafzai or Lin-Manuel Miranda, they all inspire me to keep on like going and seeing the work they do. And then my friends inspire and motivate me as well. So I think it's just a bunch of people.
I think that's one of the real keys behind like motivation in doing something and inspiration in like continuing doing something. It is those people around you. I'm actually speaking on a radio show on Wednesday about marigolds, and they're a flower that grow really well and help other plants grow as well. And having those marigolds around you is so useful and so helpful to help you with your inspiration and keep going. Now, when people ask me about my inspiration, it's so difficult because there are so many people around the world, but it is those people closest that really like keep you going and keep you pushing forward. Now you can probably hear my daughter at the moment. She's making a big racket about a metre and a half away the other side of that door. So, but she's one of them as well. Um, so this obviously is an incredible project. It's mind-blowingly good. I love it. I remember when I first saw it, and we'll talk more about that soon. I was just like, I need to speak to her. And that was a long time before it even started activating activism. It was like, she's brilliant. But how can other people kind of find their own Sammie's Buddy Bench project that isn't Sammie's Buddy Bench project? It's, I don't know, Harry's shoes for people project. I don't know, something. How can we find that inspiration?
I would say find something that you're passionate for, and if you don't know how to find something you're passionate for, just look at the world and see something that you want to fix. So for me, there were so many lonely people or people that were in need of a friend or the planet as well. So combining those two aspects, and that created something I was very passionate for. So finding something that you want to fix in the world, I think, is the big key to that.
That just that whole thing of the lonely people in the world. There are so many. There are so many, and like an idea like this can just make such a big difference. Such a big difference. Like that idea of a buddy bench. I don't know. When I heard it, I just loved it. Like they don't have them here. If you walk through the villages, so I live in Spain, and if you walk through the villages, you would basically see elderly folk sitting on the bench, whichever bench is in the sun in the winter, and whichever bench is in the shade in the summer, and that's about it. And the idea of a buddy bench, I love it to have like in school as well, in the park. Brilliant plan, brilliant idea. So a few more questions. Now, I first saw you. Oh, it was a while ago. It was on your podcast. You were speaking to Amy from Kids Against Plastic. So, I believe. So tell us more about that.
Like my podcast in general.
In general, of course, not just that episode, like, but in general, tell us about it. Like, how did it come about? Where can our viewers find it?
Yeah, that podcast, that specific episode was really fun to film. I loved it.
She's
But
brilliant.
yes, definitely. So my podcast is called Sammy Smiles, and it's basically um, where I interview people who inspire me and make me smile, so I can hopefully make other people smile as well. You can find it on like YouTube for the video version, under Sammy Smiles, Apple Podcast, and Spotify as well.
There you go. So all of your reputable podcast outlets where you can find it. And I would thoroughly recommend going and checking it out. Because it does make you smile as well. It's, you know, it's one of those things. It's a great way to start your week with a smile, something happy at the start of the week. It's always very nice to do that. Now, that's a project that's you know, you're coming up to a year now. Did you say that the podcast has been on for, or how long have you had the podcast going now?
Yeah, it's been about a year. I started it in October last year, so.
Coming on for a year. Wow, it's nearly October already. How did that happen?
It's crazy. I know, it's gone so fast.
My granddad always used to have a say. Well, my granddad had quite a lot of sayings, but one of them was, "The time goes so fast, there's almost isn't enough time to change your pants." Now, my granddad's was English, and in his case, pants means underpants. And I was just like, I thought, never quite that fast, Granddad. It's never quite that fast. There's always time to change your pants, I'm afraid. But yeah, he had quite a lot of sayings like that. Now, your podcast is one brilliant thing. Your benches are another incredible thing. Now, I want to know about your book.
Yeah, so I have a book that came out August 24th, and it's called Inspire the World, A Kid's Journey to Making a Difference. It's basically about my journey with the buddy benches, but also how other people can make a difference no matter who they are, their age, or anything like that. And it's actually dedicated to people who want to make a difference in the world but don't know how to start. So
I think that is such a key thing that people need. They need to read, they need to see these kind of things. They need people like yourself as role models to see, so they can find that passion. They can find that thing that they want to make a difference with, and kind of develop from there. Because, you know, often people look out there and they see young people doing big things like yourself, like Kids Against Plastic, so many youth activists and influencers across the world. And it can be a bit intimidating. You know, they look at it and think, whoa, she's achieved all of that. That's amazing. But not knowing the steps to get there. A lot of people think, I want to do that, and think that they can just jump straight to that. But there are obviously steps to kind of get towards that area and, you know, make that difference. And yeah, I think, like you say, finding that thing that they have that passion for within them. For me, my passion is teaching. I'm a teacher. I often say I have an obsession for teaching and a passion for the planet, which have led me to create Renewable English. I also like talking to people. So that's kind of good as well. But yeah, I found that, so that's how I developed and built Renewable English. It's finding that thing, and when you're younger as well, it's difficult to find that area. It's difficult to look for that. So my recommendation is, everybody, go and order that book. Where can we order your book, Sammie?
you can find it on like Amazon, worldwide. There's bookstores such as like Barnes and Noble. You can find it at Target, Walmart.com, and like other just generic online bookstores and stuff.
There we go. So there is a reading recommendation for you all. Go check it out. I know that's on my daughter's reading list. So she has a mixture of things to read at the moment. She's enjoying a lot of the fiction side of things. She's reading a lot of like Roald Dahl and stuff like that. But then her non-fiction side of things, you know, she has other youth influencer books to read as well. So she's developing her kind of activist brain, as it were. It was funny the other day because we said to her, "Hey Ali, you know," that's her name obviously. We said, "Why don't you go to drama club or something like that in the afternoon?" Because at the moment she does karate. We were thinking if she wanted to do something else. She said, "But I don't want to be an actor, Daddy. I want to be an activist." And I was like, "Yes." That's what I like to see. That's what I like to hear. So yeah, that's something a bit of fun that she's like got that in her mind now. So now she has even more to read on her reading list, and I'm sure it won't take long to get here anyway. So it's already been ordered, so it's on the way. I'm getting excited. Um, we have a lot of book deliveries here. We usually get second-hand books,
Mhm.
but it's only been out a couple of months, so we can't find well a month. Hang on, it's 1 month and 2 days it's been out, hasn't it? So there you go. So it won't be second-hand yet, but it will be second-hand when she passes it on to her friends. So everybody, get the book. Everybody, check out the podcast. And how else can we get involved with your benches?
Well, I have a website that's sammiesbuddybenchproject.com. There's a lot of like other information on that and stuff and how you can get involved. Or like my Instagram, Sammie's Buddy Bench Project, Facebook the same, and then Twitter, I believe, is Sammie's Benches. Yeah.
It's really annoying on Twitter because you have to keep your name a bit shorter, don't you?
Yeah.
For example, my name on Twitter has one fewer E, and it's just like, why? I just need one more letter, guys. Come on, give me one more. So yeah, that kind of wound me up a bit as well. Well, thank you so much. I know it's the weekend. I know it's a Sunday. You've probably got a lot of things to do. So I'm going to let you be on your way. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a
Thank
real
you.
pleasure. I will continue following you. I will continue seeing the brilliant and wonderful things that you do. And I look forward to seeing you at some point in the future.
Thank you so much.
Have a lovely weekend. Bye. A lovely
You too.
Sunday. See you
You too.
later.
Bye.
Bye bye.